Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday, December 14th, it was reported that California police had shot a man to death on the street in daylight with 33 rounds. If you're new here, for more than 2 years, I have been documenting on my blog and this video channel that the police are actively involved in a conspiracy against the people that is about racial division. And this has been noted in many incidents through history, notably the Rodney King beating, the recent Michael Brown shooting, right now in the headlines, the Freddie Gray story, and all the other ones that have been scattered in between. Ever since Trayvon Martin, we've been bombarded with stories relating to police and injustices against black youth. Now, I realize that I live in a nation where many black youth are mistreated by the police every day, but we never hear these stories and we never hear these names. They just end up behind bars, part of the slave labor prison system, the injustice system. The stories we get in the mainstream are controlled stories that are part of a propaganda. In a way, they acknowledge a truth, but they exaggerate it, and they are meant to provoke and make people more angry and more divided. So let's watch this mainstream coverage, and then we'll take this joke of a story apart. Notice it's 47 seconds long. That's a very important number to the Zionists and the Masons that control mainstream media, that control CNN. Rodney King himself supposedly died at age 47. We'll talk more about Rodney King at the end of this video. One more thing. Before we start the video, I want to acknowledge this green sweater the woman narrating the story is wearing. In a lot of these stories of racial injustice, the victim has been in a green shirt. There was a story earlier this year where a mother supposedly called the police on her son who had a mental disability. He had a screwdriver in his hand. The police show up and shoot him to death on live TV. We got that story. We had the shooting of Walter Scott in the back by police wearing a green shirt. And if you go back and watch a number of these other stories, there's a lot of green. There's a reason for this. There is a coding in letters to numbers that is very important to these madmen who wage these stories. Notice that green has a Jewish gematria of 137. 137 is the 33rd prime number. In so many of these racially divisive stories, the number 33 is coded in a number of ways. Rodney King was beaten on 3-3, March 3rd, and we'll talk more about it. There's a whole lot more 33 than that in the Rodney King story. Also notice that green has a gematria of 49. The name Washington has a gematria of 49. Washington State's flag is the only green flag, and this is no coincidence. 49 is the number of Revelation, the final book of the Bible, the 66th book that is used as a playbook in these stories. The whole Michael Brown shooting was centered around the numbers of Revelation. The week of the riots began on a date with 49 numerology. If you're not aware, the name Michael comes from Revelation in the Bible, the archangel, the leader of heaven. Enough of that, Truth Seeker. Let's just watch the mainstream coverage, and then we'll break down the rest. Here we go.
He was
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office is releasing more details about a fatal police shooting Saturday outside a gas station. 2 deputies fired more than 30 shots at Nicholas Robertson and kept shooting as he crawled away. Authorities say images from the scene prove that the suspect had a gun.
You see how the media does that to you, Truth Seeker? It tells you something that's different than what your eyes are seeing. She says the camera image proves he had a gun. We see him waving his left hand and his right hand's at his side with no gun in it. But then watch what they do with the still images.
Reports say that Robertson had been behaving erratically, pointed his weapon at deputies, and refused to drop it even when he was down on the ground. The district attorney's office plans to investigate.
So now we get these frozen images that are hard to make out, especially the last one, showing a gun. But what so many of us need to keep in mind is the media is here to deceive, and we live in an age with all sorts of visual deception tools thanks to computer and special graphics and Photoshop and programs such as this. Not only that, but people sit around and watch these sitcom TV shows, something I rarely ever watch, but so often when my girlfriend has them on and I catch something, It's like they're taunting us in the mainstream made-for-TV shows with what's really going on in the news. My girlfriend was recently watching the show Prison Break from the mid-2000s. In that show, the whole plot is based on a shooting that never happened that was manufactured thanks to television technology and graphic deception. And in the movie, things are pointed out, such as how the gun doesn't look right, it doesn't make the right sound, it doesn't have recoil. The same types of things we see in these staged shootings again and again. Whether it's this type of propaganda for racial tension, police brutality, fear and intimidation, or also stories of ISIS and people recruited up by ISIS who want to make acts of terrorism. It's all the same. It's all propaganda. It's all fear. It's all intimidation. It's all division. And if you open your eyes and start thinking, you see the lies.
He was.
And I just want to pause right here. Acknowledge what the sheriff symbol looks like in so many cities. This is the Star of David, the emblem of the Zionists. The Zionists control our mainstream media. They've had their emblems on our dollars forever. The reason police are here is to manufacture money through the state, through unnecessary parking tickets, speeding tickets, shit we don't need. And also unnecessary arrests, legal fees. Finding people for DUIs doesn't save lives. It just generates lots of money. These are the symbols of the people who run the money system. The one we're all enslaved to, that we pay taxes on and have to participate in if we want to feed ourselves and put a roof over our heads.
In his mannerisms and the way that you see him on the video, he's handling the gun in an odd sort of way, and he seems to be agitated. So we're not sure if it's because of circumstances.
Dude, a second ago he was just waving his hands, looking like the happiest dude ever. Now all of a sudden we get these still images with the guns.
Or there may be a drug nexus to it as well.
The lies, truth seeker, and let me show you how I know it's the lies. First of all, that number 33 is a major clue. In the story, they say he had just gone into the pizza shop, which I guarantee you was just another coded word for this coded story. Notice the words police and pizza have gematria of 33. This is a number of obsession for the Zionists, as is the number 47. The Zionist state Israel was recognized by a 33-member vote by the United Nations in the year 47. More to it than that. The story also says he was carrying a 45. They say he had a 45 caliber semi-automatic handgun. The one that they probably photoshopped in there. Look at the name of the victim, truth seeker. Nicholas, having gematria of 45, and Robertson, having gematria of 45. I've also pointed out countless times how they love to use the names Robert and Robertson. Robert alone's another 33 word. Double 45 coding, the kid with the 45. The police spokesperson had name gematria Steve Katz. The United Nations in New York's 39 floors tall. Revelation is based on the 39 books in the Old Testament, Zionist numbers. Important numbers to this nation. The shooting came December 12th, 15, a date with 39 numerology. Interesting name gematria. His last name sums to the equivalent of Freemasonry. And again, it is the Freemason Zionists who control the media, control our police departments, and more. They said the victim was 28 years old. I just recently did a video on the Golden State Warriors losing streak at 28. I talked about how throughout history, 28 and 33, significant numbers often paired together, both having gematria of 156. A number connected to God, also coded into these tragedies. The name Walter Scott equals 156. South Carolina equals 156. The Walter Scott shooting came on the 47-year anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. No coincidence. Same numbers again and again. Supposedly, Nicholas Robertson was shot on Long Beach Boulevard, having gematria of 77. If you watch my recent videos on the Planned Parenthood shooting hoax and the San Bernardino shooting hoax, I talk about how police officers, when they participate in hoaxes, they love to code these multiples of 11. 33 and 77 show up a lot. Notice that police officers, 77. Police departments, 77. No coincidence. They tell us one officer fired 17, the other 16 for a total of 33. Of course, they don't have any of this footage. They just want to tell us about it, like in all these instances. The word kill, the small way, is 17. The big way, it's 44. Think about how MLK died on 4/4. 44 coded into the death of Malcolm X and many others. 16, one of few words when written out that has a gematria of 33, the total number of shots. The date of the killing itself, December 12th, 2015, a date with 59 numerology, the kill number in Jewish gematria, also a number negatively stamped on black Americans again and again. Negro equals 59, slave equals 59, blues equals 59. Motown Records came out in 59. Of course, Motown Records isn't a negative thing, but there's a reason it came out in the year 59. It's because of these Zionist assholes and their racist coding. So let's talk about Rodney King in light of these numbers, Truth Seeker. Rodney King was born on April 2nd, 4/2. His name sums to 59. Notice the word nigger, the most hateful word for black people. Nigger has gematria of 42 and has a double 5-9 coding within. If you look up the shooter of Michael Brown, which happened in Ferguson, Missouri, both Ferguson and Missouri equal 42. He's wearing a blues shirt with the number 42 on it. And remember, blues equals 59. No coincidence. They code these numbers again and again in police brutality. Rodney King equals 59, probably not his real name. I have a feeling Rodney King was a willing paid participant for the beating he received. You can watch that beating online. It was not a fake beating. He was truly beat. It looks horrible. Right now, the Attorney General for the 44th President is Loretta Lynch. Just think about the name, Truth Seeker. Born in the year 59. Anyhow, Rodney King beat on March 3rd by police with 33 gematria, by the LAPD with 33 gematria. No different than KKK, the 11th letter. The riots would happen April 29th, more than a year later. Notice also a date with 33 numerology. Rodney King's initials break down to 911. What do we know about those numbers? Especially in regards to the police. The date of the beating, a date with 116 numerology, 911 upside down. The riots happening 57 days after the beating date, a year later. South Central riots, South Central has the gematria 57. All by the numbers, Truth Seeker. Rodney King dead at age 47. Star of David, the Zionist symbol, gematria of 47. And with regards to all the 33 coded into these stories of division, race war, a gematria of 33. Police. You start looking at the names of the police officers responsible for all these shootings, same numbers, again and again, Truth Seeker. Think about the initials Trayvon Martin, TM, that's 20 plus 13. His killer, GZ, George Zimmerman, 33. Trayvon Martin buried March 3rd, the anniversary date of the Rodney King beating. Again, that woman's shirt, green, 137, the 33rd prime. All these stories are for our federal government, Truth Seeker. Federal government, Washington, D.C., 137. The word federal. Federal Truth Seeker, a 33 word. Washington, D.C., 137, the 33rd prime. The people who run the show do it by the numbers, Truth Seeker. The world has to wake up to this. The arrogance is astounding. Until next time.